And welcome back to our weekly Icarus Patchnotes discussion. We're at week 171 and we're gonna talk about some FPS improvements. I'm here with Carl, so I'm gonna quickly switch over to Discord. Hey my man, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. It's a Friday after all, and how are you doing?
Not bad, not bad. It's weekend, so it's time for some gameplay.
If we can,
And yeah,
yes.
and almost
And how's
time
life?
for vacation.
Indeed. That would always be welcome, and it is, you know, leading into April, so a lot of people actually do take holidays off during that time. Spring is on the way, you know, temperature should be increasing, the days get longer, so
Exactly.
yeah, no. But we have some interesting small patch notes to go through
Yep.
and see what's in store this week.
So this is the week 171 update. We have some massive FPS improvements with distance field shadows. Now a large performance focused patch is here with substantial changes to lighting and FPS and also some more info on great hunts. Now week 171 features a substantial performance improvement with large changes to light sources, shadows and light radius. These changes are described in detail below, along with some examples, so you can jump in and learn how you can implement these changes into your game to get large frames per second boosts based on our testing. Now we have also got a massive breakdown of the 3 new bosses coming with great hunts with the DLC, including some lore, combat insights and what you can expect when facing these Goliaths. So let's jump in and let's have a read. A couple of notable improvements. Elemental damage resistance has been added to all tamed creatures. 40% elemental damage. Think fire, poison, etc. This ensures that they take the same damage from physical and elemental damage.
It said about tamed creatures, so it includes obviously pets and the like. So definitely
Yeah,
having creatures fighting, the hammerhead, for example, or, the lava hunter, all these types of things might make it easier to, yeah, because there is an additional 40% resistance.
I'm not sure whether or not they took damage before. I believe they did. Actually, I know they did. I've been fighting scorpions, Arctic scorpions with a Tusker, and they did take poison damage. So fire damage they take as well. So yeah, the damage they take, the elemental damage they take has now been reduced. They gained 40% elemental damage resistance. So yeah, bring along a pack of wolves or so to fight a hammerhead slug. It's gonna be more useful.
Yeah, it'll definitely be something I would be considering next time around. I mean, worst case scenario is you lose the pet, but
Yeah,
it's,
you'll probably lose a couple. I mean, you have to travel to the hammerhead location first, so
well, wolves
you have
shouldn't
to
be dying
deal
that quickly. So,
with the needlers and stuff,
yeah,
poison
I'm
damage.
pretty sure those won't pose a problem. And if you have, for example, 4 wolves, realistically that should be sufficient. Or if Echo has Author sort of leveled up and we have 5 wolves altogether,
Uh,
then I think that should be okay. We'll see though.
True. I mean, on foot and especially on a mount, you can easily outrun a needler. I'm not sure that Thames will be able to outrun them, but hey, you
Maybe.
can like heal them up before going into the hammerhead slug fight, definitely.
Yeah, but they have the ability to sort of, on kill do something. But well, like I said,
Uh,
but yeah, anyway, that's interesting. So
this next one is a very nice one as well. Quick Move now prioritizes processor inventories. Notably on the electric food trough, Ctrl click will now put the items in the top inventory slots, so they will be processed into Omni Food instead of going in the bottom with all the other foods.
yes, Yes.
So up until now you had to like drag it from your inventory to the top inventory of the food processor. Now you can just control click and it will go to the top. Very handy quality of life improvement. I like this.
Indeed, indeed. That's definitely one of the things that was a a pain.
And furthermore, all pistol and rifle ammunition icons have been redesigned. This in preparation for the submachine gun and assault rifle.
Yep.
Now this week, FPS improvements. TLDR, light shadows are now significantly cheaper to run and lights have an increased radius.
Well, I do like the photo above it. That is a beautiful photo, beautiful lighting
Yep.
in a cabin. So the fireplace has like a warm glow, and the lamps seem to be having like minimalistic. It's not like a blurry, very pixelated thing. It seems like it's a soft light feature fixture. So it would
Yeah.
be interesting to see how the game has changed in relation to shadows and light, because it does play a relatively large part of the immersion.
Yep. So light shadows. Now, as many gamers will already be aware, rendering shadows can be frustratingly expensive. And lowering your shadow quality settings in most heavy-hitting games will likely net you a big performance increase. Now, Icarus is no different in that aspect, but we've also tried since the very beginning to not take the simple route many other games take and just turn shadows off. Instead, we want to continue to leave the power in the hands of the players as much as possible, while still being responsible game devs, and knowing where and when to draw the line, and to ensure that all players are being given the best chance of a good experience when playing the game. So, with that in mind, we've meticulously gone through over 100 of our light emitting deployables, most of which also cast shadows, and done a pass over the settings to ensure they're as optimized as possible. One particular setting we have opted for is to use distant field shadows instead of the traditional, more expensive default shadows. Now in the small test scene below, which has about 6 active shadow casting lights, we can see a direct comparison between default shadows on the left and distant field shadows on the right. Even with just 6 lights there is very little visual difference. They do look quite the same still, but
Yeah,
almost
I would
double the
say.
frame rate in this scene.
I actually feel like the door portal is darker, which would make more sense realistically, in the right and in the distant field shadows. So it makes, you know, that the window frames are more darker, which is a good thing because it would be usually sometimes pitch black. But yeah, visually speaking, it could be the same picture, just copy paste it. No, no, no. You can see from the look at the thistle or the what
Yeast.
is that?
Yeast.
The yeast. Thank you. Look at
Yeah,
the yeast. The yeast isn't emitting, but realistically, yeah, that's a negligible, tiny
yeah.
difference considering
In
you get
yeah.
double the performance almost.
In the right image, distant field shadows, they don't cast any shadow.
Yeah, I mean that's perfectly fine. I mean,
Yeah,
still looks great.
yeah. It looks like the quality doesn't seem to suffer, except from like some
No,
objects casting less shadow. But
yeah,
this increase in FPS, that's a big one.
and if anything, it would actually be more realistic because the yeast wouldn't really cast a large shadow as it's doing over there realistically. It
Exactly.
would maybe have a slight shadow, but since it's such a thin orbed object, it would actually be interesting to see if there is still a shadow being cast, because if there is, then that would actually be more realistic, so therefore being another actual improvement, but we can carry on.
Okay, let's see. Now, how does this work? This shadow casting. Shadow rendering cost is directly related to the number of triangles within the radius of the light. Many of Icarus' meshes contain a significant number of triangles to get to the high level of detail Icarus is known for. As you can see in this image here, See, all surfaces are made up of triangles.
Installation.
Yeah, so more triangles basically means more detail, but also more expensive when it comes to shadow casting. This is, by the way, the skeletal image of the sewing machine, by the looks of it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Now, the problem with those triangles is that it makes rendering default shadows from lights extremely expensive for the GPU. Luckily, there's an alternative method of rendering shadows via a simplified version of the mesh that's automatically generated by the Unreal Engine, called a distance field mesh. Now, this is a simple approximation of the mesh, and while it may sound like a degradation of shadow quality, it's usually the opposite. The mesh
Yeah.
now casting much softer shadows. This lends itself to a more realistic representation of light as light bounces and scatters throughout the room.
Picture is a
Now,
beautiful example of it in regards to the
yeah,
battery bank showing
yeah,
it. That's actually 100% perfect indication that
yeah,
the lighting actually felt more realistic. And the second picture, like I said, regarding the yeast, and in this
yeah,
case, you can definitely see it looks a much better shadows, to be honest.
and no longer these straight, sharp shadow lines.
Yeah, yeah,
I
which
mean,
is amateuristic.
yeah,
Realistically, it looks beautiful in this picture. So really well worth the effort they put in. Surprised that the default costs more and looks worse.
yeah,
Probably just a lazy approach, and they put in the effort to obviously use, because it probably takes individual configurations of light sources in order to calculate and render the the how the light emission takes place, which is certain developers like just default looks good enough, sell it for millions, and we'll fix it later.
yeah. But those sharp shadow lines, they will be
Mm.
cast in a vacuum or very low pressure, yeah, vacuum or a very low pressure atmosphere. But all the particles in the atmosphere, they will scatter the light. So these softer shadow lines is way more realistic. Now on to the expectations. Now, to ensure that we are not setting up the wrong expectations, we want to be clear this change will only affect you if you have your light shadows turned on in your settings, as you can see in the picture below.
I'll definitely be turning it on.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it as well, but
I mean, it looks better than what it was, so I get better performance. Not that I'm currently missing it, but and it's going to look better. So yeah, I'm definitely thinking I'm gonna put it on.
however, now might be a good time to turn the light shadows on and try it out to see how your performance fares with this latest change, if you haven't been using it yet. Now, additionally, light shadows will only be visible if you have your shadows quality set to high or epic.
Hmm.
It's also worth noting this is set to on by default, light shadows. So it is worth checking out your settings when you load up, like make sure it's indeed on and set your shadows to high or epic. I
Now
believe
mine,
I have set my shadows to low so I can see in
same here.
caves.
I think I might have put mine ISO too low, but because mostly, as the article explains, most gamers are familiar with and how terrible performance is affected with shadow rendering, which was now explained quite nicely by the
Yep,
devs. But perhaps now, considering that if you put it on epic or high and then turn the soft shadows on, being able to play with beautiful shadows on and not be crawling through the mud performance-wise
yep,
will be something to see. Obviously, it also depends on how this affects the VRAM and all these types of things, but I think if your graphics card has at least 8 gigs worth of VRAM, I think that's sort of what the game is being optimized for. It should be fine, but
yeah.
definitely worth
Now,
testing.
for content purposes, I've set my shadows to low so I can at least see something in caves. Not the most realistically, but I can walk around in caves without torch on. I might actually play around with those settings a bit again.
Hmm.
Light radius increases. Now
Now
in
this one might be nice though to fix the issue about lighting in a cave because with the torch you could see far, but definitely having a light bouncing around illuminating a certain area would make it look amazing, and secondly, make it possible to see what you're actually doing inside of a cave.
uh, I remember the older days where there was no light slot. So
Yeah,
you had to
drop the
choose
torch. Yeah,
either hold the torch or mine, or indeed drop the torch on the ground and
and
yeah,
no puddle, and then just mine, yeah, whilst it's on the ground. Yeah, and that worked fine,
exactly.
to be honest. That's the way we did it in the good old days.
Yep.
And it worked. But definitely, I think with the lighting change, it's going to be good to see for the torch because I know that they worked on the torch last week or the week prior, and now for your bio lantern to see how it emanates light from it because
Yeah.
that's obviously what they're
So
going to
yeah,
be
make
covering now.
sure you have your shadows, the light shadows
Yeah.
set to on and then to high or epic shadow quality. But yeah, definitely something worth looking into. Uh, if now light, the rag torch not doesn't emit the most light, the lantern is definitely gonna emit more light. They have indeed been working on radius and intensity 2 weeks ago, I believe it was. Well, we'll
Yeah,
have
like I said, they did
a look.
they did with the torch at the very least, and I think they made it softer on the outer edges, and I thought it looked good, but it definitely looked more realistic in the sense, which is what I
Yeah,
really liked. I felt it was a really good representation of what a torch looks like in the real world. That's of an average luminosity. So in this case, it should be, interesting to see how this, moves towards. And if you actually look at the photos down further
yeah.
below, you'll
Now
see
let's
it looks actually more like, yeah.
let's
So
first
far.
go through the text. So in addition to FPS improvements for shadows, this week updates also includes another substantial improvement for most light emitting sources, increasing in light radius. Now, initially we kept the radius very small in order to help with performance costs. Small radius means anything outside
No
the
shadows.
radius doesn't need to calculate the shadows, which were, as we have seen, expensive. So keep the radius limited, but now with distance field shadow, increase the light radius. And we kept the radius very small to the point where some of the lights were actually pretty much useless.
Yep.
Now, with the significant cost reduction generated from the shadow changes, we have been able to increase this radius much larger to make the lights more usable and to affect a larger area.
Hmm.
You may find that your base is much brighter now, so it's also a chance to remove some light sources you no longer need, saving you power and giving you even more performance improvements.
Mm.
And indeed, comparing those two images, current light
Yeah.
radius, you see there are a lot of
Yeah.
dark areas. The
You can
stairs going
barely
up
see
on the
what's going
left,
on.
like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can't see them.
Can't see
With the
anything. Yeah. Yeah.
updated light radius, hey, way lighter inside the base.
Yeah. It looks actually like you can see what's going on. So it's definitely something. And yet again, like you said, in the caves, not being able to see anything because that was the problem. We had zero distance rendering with the light sources when
Yeah,
we had it prior. Hence, it was like, yeah, turn it all to low so we can actually see what we're doing.
yeah,
So now definitely even turning it up, but then being aesthetically, nicer and just turning on a light source in the cave, I think that shouldn't be a problem. But
yeah.
we'll see in the gameplay.
And like when playing, it isn't too big of a problem. But if you're streaming and you're in a cave mining and you can hardly see anything, well,
Yeah,
for the viewers, it's like boring. It's black and you hear mining,
yeah,
but you have no idea
exactly.
what's going on.
So
But yeah, I'll be changing the shadow
testing it yourself.
quality
Yeah.
back to epic again. Now going forward, as with all things, this is a balance between costs and visuals. We do have some decent control over the visual quality by tweaking the resolution of the distance field mesh. However, doing this increases the memory consumption of the mesh exponentially and will also increase the cost of shadow rendering again. So, We'll be keeping an eye out and an ear out for the feedback for egregious meshes that need an increase in quality. In general though, we expect the quality at present to be the baseline for this change to remain meaningful. Now, the final thing worth mentioning is we are aware distance field shadows don't cast shadows off skeletal meshes. So things like player characters, creatures, mounts, pets, animals, and any animated deployables will not cast shadows. There are some things we can do here regarding using hidden dummy meshes and capsule shadows, which we are investigating. But in the interest of getting this optimization out to players as quickly as possible, we have elected to skip this part for now and introduce further updates later on.
I like it, step by step, mention it very clearly that, you lose your shadow of certain, assets and, there are alternative options that are currently being investigated. So, yeah, perfectly good.
But keep in mind this
Very good.
might then reduce your FPS a little bit again, but
True, but yet again, you're talking about a 2x factor improvement in actual just regular gameplay with shadows on, obviously, so it
situational,
remains
huh?
to be seen. It's very,
Situational
and
two
hardware
times.
dependent. Yeah, it is, and driver dependent because does that apply for NVIDIA only? Does it include AMD because of,
I would say this is
physics?
AMD as well.
It should, but AMD has, certain things and NVIDIA has certain proprietary,
True,
stuffs. And it
true.
is the Unreal Engine that's doing it. So Unreal Engine is pretty decent. So I don't think it should be a problem, but that's also quite nice for me to test it from AMD's perspective. So I will
Exactly.
know what it felt like and what it would feel like and look like in the new version. So
Yeah,
definitely looking forward to getting it updated and tested.
same here. Now next
Next
week
week.
we get a craftable submachine gun, the new SMG
Ooh.
craftable firearm. Next week we will introduce a new craftable SMG submachine gun, as we talked about previously before they were delayed to undergo some more changes. This week's new bullet icons are a sneak peek of the style we will use for the ammunition going forward. Next week we will reveal more of the arsenal. At least they don't say next week we'll be bringing out great hunts, so I'm very happy, because next week I won't be here. But yeah, next
Mhm.
week the Patchnotes you're gonna be doing with Echo, and yeah, I will put link to Echo's channel in my Discord, uh, so people can watch Patchnotes discussion via Echo's YouTube stream. New submachine gun, huh? I
Well, yeah, this was the
wonder,
discussion we had last week.
yeah, I
So.
wonder how many magazines you can shoot before it completely breaks down. Durability loss.
Yep, SMGs, we'll have to see. I mean, we already know what the light carbine is like, so it would probably, currently compete with it because SMGs are pretty much usually shooting pistol rounds, such as 9mm or certain specialized 45 APC or something like that. But yeah, it will be interesting to see. But I was expecting a renaming of light carbine to SMG and then the creation of an assault
Well,
rifle. So
it is an
it's an
automated
interesting.
carbine.
Well, the
Mhm.
lights, the carbine is a small, caliber rifle. So it is like a very interesting
Oh,
gap to try and squeeze this into,
well, this is a
because
submachine gun. This is not a machine gun, huh?
no, true, but a submachine gun, like I said, shoots pistol rounds,
Yeah.
and light carbine shoots pistol rounds. So you're going to have two weapons that both shoot pistol rounds
And
when you're still waiting on an
automated
assault rifle that
turrets
should.
and hand
Yeah,
pistols
exactly.
and yeah.
So it's a very interesting question, but we'll see what it is next week.
Yep.
But there's bosses, and there's a
Oh yeah.
video.
Coming soon. Meet the new Great Hunts bosses. Now this week we're introducing you to the 3 new bosses you'll be encountering in the Great Hunts campaigns. So let's have a quick look at the video. We'll first play it normally, and then we'll play it again with a little bit of comments. So here we go. I'd say that looks pretty good.
I like the opening clip where you hear the audio of the guy getting smacked into the ice, which was pretty nice touch. It's definitely good.
Yeah. So if we start over from the start, we start out with the Rhyme Tusk. Yeah, and he slaps the guy to the side.
And you can hear him going. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice touch. Very nice touch. But it was,
Man,
yeah,
that thing is
expected.
massive, man.
Yeah, it's definitely a big guy, and he's quite quick. You can't outrun that trotting speed by the looks of it. I
He,
think he'll catch up to you way quicker. It's not like the mammoth that you could basically kite, because that is pretty quick. I
yeah.
mean,
Well,
maybe
you
with a
see
full
the guy on
speed
the
bump.
right, you can see him running.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. So but that's not a sprint. That's a very slow run. I mean, we move much faster than that. But even a fully
Well,
speed fit, but based upon the feeling that I'm getting of the mammoth coming towards the camera, it's definitely a decent brisk charge. So I
yeah.
think it'll need to be really good positioning when engaging it, not as the guy was standing in front of the big mammoth thing with tusks the size of a four-story
Yeah.
building that's about to smack him, trample him. That's a very bad positioning. Really
Well, you could
amateuristic.
see the Ruimtusk was easily overtaking the player on the right.
Oh yeah, like I said, yeah, easy. So, uh,
So let's see.
and then there is obviously the stomp mechanic, which has a very large knockback by the
The
looks of it.
glacial
So
stomp.
it's
Oh yeah, you see the guy on the left, how he's flying.
yeah. It'll pretty much probably be very similar to the Scorpion King, like smacking you kind of
Uh,
stuff, and
Here, look,
has
look at
a
the
large
guy
amount of
here.
yeah. So the arena seems quite big, and it does seem like there's a lot of ice spikes, which sort of allow you to get some degree of cover. Obviously, I'm assuming it'll be the mammoth will just, or Rhyme Tusk will just smash through all of it. So
I don't know, maybe.
it's
Well, let's
it should
see.
be pretty. I mean, probably some of it's going to be used for cover, and then the Garganaton
Ice
does seem to
spires.
be. Mm,
He's doing the ice
yeah,
spires. Uh,
yeah. Like I said, the ice bars. Yeah, and then obviously there's
and
the
then
Vesper, which
the Arctic Vespers flying around is basically
yeah,
the ad for the Ruimtusk.
yeah, they might be a little bit irritating, but I don't think I felt that they do a lot of damage, but that might change.
I would
So
say the flamethrower is a good thing against the Arctic Vespers. They do work in the against the normal Arctic Vespers as well.
yeah, flamethrower should be a good weapon anyway because it is an
Yeah.
ice biome, so it will
Vesper
probably do
swarms.
bonus damage.
Yeah, but also it's like they don't have that much health, or at least not in the normal Arctic.
Yeah,
So the flamethrower is actually a very good weapon against the Vesper nests.
yeah. As long as you don't put your allies onto, put
Eh,
them on fire, it should be good.
little detail.
Yeah.
Oh, he's actually
So
using his what is it, Gargantuan
the hammer.
gauntlet thingy. the gauntlet.
but I don't think that was a good choice, to be
Nope.
honest. Taking a knife to a gunfight isn't a good idea. But yeah, looked
Okay,
good.
Garganathon. See, what do you have?
I do see that
Rock
the
and
mist
log
is,
toss. The mist?
yeah, yeah, there's a lot of mist and there's swamp, so it's going to be
Well,
positional yet again.
there is a setting in the game settings INI which you can use to get rid of the mist and the hue.
Oh, I
Personally, I've
like it.
gotten rid of the mist, but I kept the hue because for me that's like
Well,
immersive for this biome. But the
yeah,
mist again for content purposes, you know, if you can't see much, plus for my own benefit.
I think mine is set on currently, which always makes it a little bit of a problem when going through the swamp, but it does make it very. It suits the aesthetic of the biome, but yeah. Well, it seems like a short short allocation to him, and yeah, yet again just adds. They do seem to
Uh,
have a little jump leap attack,
did
so
she smack the log at
yeah,
34,
yeah.
35?
And no, he does. I
Boom.
mean, they mentioned multiple times that he's going to have like a log to smack people with, but that does seem like
Canopy
the
combat.
ads are pretty quick though.
Canopy
If you
combat,
take a look at,
joining from the trees down.
yeah, but that's just him swinging through the things. We're just going to have to shoot up. That's our gameplay change. Let's shoot up. Yeah, that's a big change.
Here are
But
the ape squads.
yeah, the ape squad. So they seem pretty mobile. If you take a look at how
Oh yeah.
quickly they sprinted towards the player, so you're just going to have to keep on far of those guys. And then yeah, Quiet's going to be rolling around. It does seem like he had a very sharp turning radius actually.
Oh,
Looking at the
the ape squads,
Quiet,
by the
yeah.
way, do the same
Mhm.
jumping towards a player attack as well.
Yeah, like I said that. Yeah, they do have like a leap
Yeah,
attack
there they
basically,
go.
which is going to
Oh, they sprint and jump,
yeah, it
and
seems
then we
like a
get to
really
the yeah.
yeah. No, it does seem like you need to be yet again very good
On your
positioning
feet.
and clearing them out before they
Yeah.
jump you, because if they're going to be jumping behind you and on you and then from the left of you,
Mm.
and if the models or my connection speed isn't going to be updated to the point that it will make it
So
easier for me to try
basically,
and flank and shoot.
I'll have to take care
Yeah.
of the ants while shoot a boss,
No, it should
kind
be
of thing.
fine. I mean, yet again, I should be moving at the end of my connection will be set up in the new house basically within 2 weeks. So I look forward to
That's going to
seeing
be
how that
a
affects
big
it.
difference.
But we'll see. Yeah,
All right.
yeah. It's obviously the armored rock boss. It looks pretty
Rolling
normal.
thunder attack. You see him rolling around. You don't want to get
Yeah.
hit by that.
Well, you can see
So
he turns very quickly
yeah,
actually. So you'll see that in the video just not long after the introduction, he makes a
U-turn.
relatively quick turn.
Yeah.
I mean,
So a
so
couple of
yeah.
weeks ago they changed this. So if he's rolling and he hits you, he's not going to push you in front of him and continuously do damage, but he's going to push you to the side. I still
Yeah,
think you're going to lose a large chunk of health if he hits you.
pretty much. And then obviously a bunch of caveworm ads. We're pretty
Marching
familiar with those.
aftershocks.
hmm
How did there's a loot bag here? A crate overflow bag.
Yeah, and there's definitely a big cave because they're fighting in like a cave. So I think it's
Hold on. Where did that thing come from? The player is just standing there. Oh, maybe he killed a player and there's the death loot bag, yeah. Oh yeah, the caveworm hordes definitely use the green
yeah.
pills there. So you can kind of ignore the caveworms. Cause
A little bit
they don't do that much
damage. Yeah,
physical damage.
of
It's more
course.
the poison spits, but if you have a couple of if you have a green pill active, then you can kinda ignore-ish, hopefully, the hordes a little bit. By the way,
Yeah,
this is the sandworm crossbow, the one who shoots the javelins.
yeah. Saw that. Yeah.
So using that thing, I think it's the crossbow. Although it might be the scorpion rifle though.
No. That's the crossbow.
I don't know. It looks like a barrel in the middle here.
Mm, I've already moved away from the video, but to confirm.
115. Looks like a
2015.
barrel. I thought the crossbow. No, the crossbow was
No,
used
that's
in
the
in
crossbow.
the.
Well,
No, the crossbow was used in the Rheintusk part. I'll scroll back a little bit after this to the
actually, I see what you
Rheintusk,
mean.
and this had like 4 arms.
No, you're actually right. Yeah, it
I
could be.
think this is
But I
the
mean, yet again,
Scorpion rifle.
could be. It does look like a very interesting. It does look like a very interesting loading mechanic.
Hmm.
And it was like a one shot, but it didn't
Oh,
look like
hold
it
on.
look when the firing took place. It did look and feel like it looked like a bolt being shot, but it wasn't something long he put in.
No,
But yeah,
no,
regardless.
no. I think it is a crossbow. Yeah, the barrel-looking thing was a javelin.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, it's gone now. I thought, yeah, must be the crossbow then.
But yeah,
Coming in with a
that's the video.
flamethrower, definitely useful against the worms, I think.
I would say less so. I wasn't impressed by his choice of using a flamethrower.
Uh,
They don't have a lot of HP. It's just easier to just shoot them, get rid of them, and then move back onto the main boss rather than
true, but
spending throw flames all over the place and then have it tick down damage-wise. It
yeah,
just
but if there
doesn't make
are a
sense
whole
to me
bunch of
personally.
worms, you can easily
Yeah,
just
pop,
spray
pop,
the
pop, pop,
area with a
pop, 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 pop,
flamethrower.
they're dead. Oh. No. Just shoot, 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 shoot. Go back to boss. It's
Uh,
not that difficult. Rather than
We'll,
let me
we'll
get
come up
the
with a proper
flamethrower.
strategy. No worries there.
Kill the boss. Pretty easy. But the text descriptions
So,
of the bosses is up next.
Great Hunt campaign, the DLC is coming soon. Yeah, text-wise, Rheintusk. Rheintusk are incredibly strong with thick, ice-like armor covering their vulnerable areas. They live in harmonies with the Vespers and will often summon them to help in a fight. Their stomp is a powerful attack that should always be avoided if you want to walk away with your life. Now the Rheintusk is an example of what happens when the scientific protocol is ignored. An apprentice was tasked with researching chemical interactions with local flora and fauna within the Prometheus region. He instead chose to conduct his own enzyme research. This did not end well for him or his team. It's an imposing looking animal though.
Looks pretty cool. Will be interesting to see what the corpse looks like once we're done defeating it.
Yep.
We'll be able to take our time and appreciate the model up close because that is a very nice, detailed render. It's not in-game though. It's a render of the creature and of the game itself. The interesting thing is you can look at the guy on the right and it looks like he's got some ice armor or something spiky armor, which looks pretty cool as well.
It might be. Remember where they last week were talking about bosses dropping stuff, but also like unlocking armor and modules and stuff. So this might be one of
Yeah,
them new armor thingies.
might be. We'll have to see.
Maybe it is the Rheintusk armor. It does look like the white spiky crystals.
Yep.
Next one, the Garganutan. Thanks to their chemically enlarged hippocampus, Garganutans often use their surroundings to their advantage in a fight. Pick up rocks, pick up logs, throw them at the players. Now, because of their enhanced intellect, most prospectors will abandon any conflict or interaction with these creatures out of fear for their safety. So obviously the UDA is gonna send us in there. It's like, hey, go fetch me one, and by the way, your safety is your own concern, and we don't care. That's how the UDA works. But this will be, by the way, Norax, the black market hunter thingy. But now, the Garganutan is the direct result of unsanctioned experimentation conducted on the surface of Icarus. Researchers were trying to gather data on the effect of exotics on the brain and whether it could increase the capability of some animals to learn faster or to a greater extent. Well, I think the experiment exceeded their expectations in a slightly fatal way. I want to tame one and I want to ride one. Just for the fun. And then we get a Quarite. Now Porites have a rather remarkable skill. They consume entire mineral deposits to strengthen and replenish their armor-like coating. They then use this armor to trample or roll over their prey to great effect. Huh. So if you shoot off a couple of armor pieces, it's no longer going to be able to do the rolling thunder attack. That would be interesting.
Part of a strategy.
Yeah. Now, believed to be native to Icarus, the Quarite is a peculiar creature that, upon first glance, appears to be made out of rocks. This is its armor, which must first be removed in order to damage the creature. It can often be found in arid, rocky terrain, which helps it to blend in with its surroundings. So basically, biome, I would say this is the volcanic biome, Gargantuan obviously swamp, and Rhymetusk Arctic.
Yeah, it does look also pretty good. Bone or claw-like appendages on the limbs in the front to help with its control whilst it's sort of doing its spinning attack thing, and overall a very interesting looking creature.
Basically claws.
Yeah, exactly. But
Old four eyes. Now your supports make these updates possible. They have the spring sale with the base game, New Frontiers DLC, Styx DLC. It does say includes 4 items. So I'm not sure which the 4th one is. Let's have a quick look. Oh, the Pet Companions pack is included in the spring sale as well. Okay. 25% off. Or if you go for the complete set, like get everything, you get a 23% off. Still decent discount. So if you want to support the devs in enable them to continue developing and extending the game, feel free to hit up some of them DLCs. New content. Basically shadows and lights. Increased DFO resolution for wood floors fixing heavy light leaking. So now maybe if you have lights upstairs, the light will not leak through to the downstairs area. With a bit of luck. I mean, it's handy because you downstairs you put some lights against the wooden roof, and it'll automatically light the room above it as well. But it's not really that realistic. So hopefully that will be fixed as well. Geode lamps, geode lights got a slight rework. The blue one was quite bright, so that's the one I use a lot. But the brightness of the different geode lamps should now be closer to one another. We'll see what difference that's gonna make in the game. Let's see, any other non-light shadow stuff? Yeah, active processor, validation. Let's see, Foundry updates, fixable, deployable, not updating active effects properly. Visual update, visual improvement. But yeah, like I said, basically new content is the light and the shadows mainly. Fixes. 40% elemental damage resistance added to all tamed creatures we've talked about. Fix existing assault rifles being unable to be repaired. There was this bug where you, if you had an, but I thought they said last week they fixed it as well, didn't they?
Yeah,
Yeah. All still in the fixes here.
yeah. I mean, fixes don't get fixed all the time.
Yeah.
So
Nah, I haven't tried it last week. Assault rifle, the carbine, to repair.
no, I think I did. Yeah, it all worked.
Okay, good. Now T4 electronic food trough. Improve texture quality. This modified backpack quick move order. This is the one where you now can control click to have the food items go to the top inventory of the food processor instead of going to the bottom. Take all button hooked up. Take all button to take all the content from the bottom storage inventory. So grab all the Omni foods. Fortification spikes, overlap box being too small, some cases preventing hits. Glad I fixed that. If you put the spikes down, you definitely want them to kill the animals. Pet water bowls, if you place them outside during a storm, they now get automatically filled. Durability updates to a couple of benches like last week. Increase them a little bit so like the higher tier has more durability. This is a big one. Fix a bug where objectives wouldn't properly collapse in the list when completed, the quest objectives, leading to large empty spaces between remaining objective steps in the UI. And also, if the mission had quite a few steps, you couldn't see the bottom steps because they like went off screen.
Yep, I thought they fixed this about 4, 5, 6 patches ago, but it came up again, so
Yep.
it's small changes again.
Fix the cake, not a cake piece, but a cake, being able to go into the food slot and then be instantly consumed. There you go. Swallow an entire cake in one go. Good luck there.
Yep.
Let's quickly go through the future content. See if there's anything there. Added potential fix for the missing superstruct related crashes. I've been hearing quite a few of those in Discord. Removed interact from bird feeder. So it's definitely just a nice to place thing only, like you can't do anything with it. You just place it and then that's it. Up the recipe repair cost of the submachine gun and assault rifle to include titanium plate. So no longer titanium ingots, but titanium plates. But these have dramatically increased durability. So you need 3 titanium ingots for a titanium plate. If they tripled the durability of the submachine gun and the assault rifle, that's gonna make me happy to offset the additional repair cost.
Yep.
I kind of hope so, because if halfway your fight your gun breaks, then you're like, shit, no, I don't have anything to fight with anymore except my fists. So
well,
yeah.
then I have my pistol, and if that fails, then I have my bow, and if that fails, I have my crossbow, and if that fails, I have my flamethrower, and if my flamethrower throws, I have I had something else as well. I have the shotgun, and if the shotgun fails,
Knife,
then I run.
axe, pickaxe.
Oh yeah, then it's the knife, yeah. But then I'll probably run at that point. So.
True. Submachine gun is going to use the pistol talents and attachments. Add a slight fire rate penalty for the handgun attachment for the pistol. This should be negligible on the pistol itself, but bring the submachine gun in line when used with this. Like do more damage, but reduce fire rate, something to that extent. Let's see. Sandworm crossbow. friendly sandworm now actually spawns for clients. Thank you. If you play on a
That's
DS,
useful.
everyone is playing as a client, so yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It says
Um,
add an option to lock legendary weapon purchasing behind a DLC package flag a row handle. So that's does
um,
indicate that certain
so
items will not be purchasable unless you have a DLC package.
That's a good one. I mean, there will be the Rhyme Tusk, the
Oh,
Garganutan,
true.
and the
Yeah, yeah.
Quarite are
The free
DLC.
one. Yeah.
Those are DLC.
Mhm.
Um, so if I buy the DLC and you don't, you can still fight them,
Mm.
but you might not be able to use the currency. I.e.,
Exactly.
I'd
Which is the
have to
first
buy it
time
for
that
you.
will be happening. Yeah.
True,
Yeah. Which
true.
is that's also true. Yeah, you
Uh,
could buy it, but then I mean, if it's only if I would be able to
I
still
mean,
use it even if you bought it, that must be interesting. It's an interesting sidestep of it.
uh,
Um,
on the other hand, like there is a way by modifying data files to give yourself currency. So
no, yeah.
that would mean a single player who's like, I'm not gonna buy the DLC, but I do want the weapon, so I'm just gonna give me a ton of the biomass. This
Yeah.
will prevent that
Oh,
from happening.
yeah. Good.
Let's see, anything more interesting? Cliff Pass blocked out, some Elysium work on the
Yeah.
maps.
Much to that. Plus the model skins, 3D or third person changes to animations and those types of things. As it is, lots of new weapons. They should be testing and making
Yeah.
changes to all those things.
Adding
Um,
shell drop eject for Scorpion rifle reload. So it's actually gonna eject
mhm.
the empty shell. Cool.
Which is, yeah, I mean, that's the whole point, it's the whole, if you have, I'm pretty sure it will be like a big firing gun. It will be a proper rifle, like a 50 cal Barrett or something to that effect, which will be a proper big bang and lots of damage. So I look forward to at least trying that because that might make the single shot weapons back into line because
Yeah.
current, they're not worth it because the
Well, the bolt
DPM
action
is
rifle,
significantly
it's
lower.
you get it on
Yeah.
tier 3, so you get it slightly before you can make the hunting rifle. So from that point of view, it had its use, but
Oh,
very
true.
short timed use.
Oh, true, but even the hunting rifle is pitiful in comparison to the DPM of the carbide or the pistol or the shotgun or anything like that because the damage numbers aren't
Well, the
scaling with the
hunting
amount of
rifle
DPM.
uses rifle ammo. It does do more
Correct.
damage per shot. However,
It does.
the carbine has a 20 shot clip,
Hmm.
and it fires very rapidly. Where
Yes.
the hunting rifle has like the 8 slot clip,
It's a
and but fires it does more damage, but it fires slower, so your total DPS is lower.
yeah.
But the
Good.
chance of like one-shotting something is higher because you do more damage.
Um, No, I didn't feel that way. I mean, the damage when I basically compared it shooting a rifle against a non-crit zone because your crits are no longer possible, or at least the stealth modifier crits, which are the bigger damage multiplications, aren't applicable for creatures that are aggressed. So unless they really change the amount of damage or armor
Mm.
mitigation for non-armor piercing rounds, the rifle in my book is still pretty much at the bottom of the list because yeah, shotgun bang bang bang, and that amount of damage is already 10 times higher than all
Yep.
the shots in a magazine of a rifle,
Yep.
and that's if you hit all of them. So, and with the fact that yeah, with the current rendering of the models or the hitboxes being server side, it becomes a difficult action altogether to hit something rather than
Especially
the
with the slow
spray and
connection,
pray
yeah.
approach.
Es-
Exactly.
yeah.
Well, like I said, I do think it's not so much the connection, but it will be tested once I have the fiber connection.
Oh,
So
definitely.
it
I
will be
mean,
seen.
I also like if there's a lot of ads around, I also do suffer from it a little bit, but way less
Exactly.
than you seem to do.
Well, like I said, it's to be seen, and to be seen whether or
Yeah.
not there is an improvement or whether or not it's just purely a game mechanic issue. Because you don't play as much first-person shooter games like I do,
True, true.
so It's basically I know what it should feel like, and it should definitely not feel like the way it's feeling
Well,
now.
also thinking back of how it felt when we're doing missions instead of operations.
Yeah, that was way different.
Yeah.
So I mean, before they did the transferring to a server-based stuff, it was a whole different discussion. Actually, I
Yeah.
might try and launch it on my own and actually see how it feels then.
Yeah.
That'll actually be something interesting. Yeah, that definitely would make it interesting. But either way,
EDS
moving on.
add EDS ammo.
Hmm.
Not sure what EDS stands for, but it's gonna be a universal ammo type, like the crude ammo.
Okay.
Meh.
Does seem
Uh,
like they added a cap of like 60, which is
yep,
good for the
the
for
rhyme
the
tusk.
yeah, definitely I think getting swarmed by like 1,000 birds would first tank and
Yeah.
destroy your computer than actually much else. So it'll also be probably a really good XP farm. I'm not even sure how much XP Arctic Vesper grants you, but I do think it
I
would be
wouldn't
more
know.
than it would be
Uh,
a bit, I would say. So it'll be interesting.
uh, I mean, they aren't that common, the Arctic Vespers, so I don't know.
Correct. Stats
Stats
pass
pass
on
on
the
Sentinel
crossbow. Okay.
crossbow, yeah, significantly reduce the base damage, but increase many of the upgrades. So the upgrades are gonna be more worth it.
Makes sense as well.
Reduce mobility and critical damage while using by default. Reduce mobility. Now, I believe there's going to be an upgrade which actually like increase your
Mm.
mobility again, or there was something with a module that gives you the 50% overcomers penalty reduction. So same as the Neve's pickaxe. Now imagine Neve's pickaxe versus Sandstorm crossbow. If they both give
Mhm.
the same 50% overcomes penalty reduction. However, the crossbow is getting does get the benefits of the talent for faster movement speed with bow out. Thus, no longer carry the knees, but carry a Sandstorm crossbow.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, you still need a mining axe in general, and unless you're going
True, but
Miasmic or
I
whatever
I
have you, which is the fancy axe. I still like the Neve axe. It's a good
I
axe. It's,
I
I
only
think
use the knees pickaxe for
the weight
the
reduction. Yeah,
yeah
yeah,
the overcomes penalty
the
reduction.
encumbrance and penalty
Yeah.
reduction. Yeah, I mean it's one thing. But like I said, from my perspective, it's okay. But yeah, it is an alternative option, and more options are better.
Add separate cheese
Um,
material for audio and effects for decorative cheeses, and there's gonna be a very funny a little bit later. Adding a more appropriate PM for the cheese so it doesn't seem like bloody cheese. That's disgusting.
Yeah, that's like adding more appropriate PM cheese. Yeah, it doesn't seem delicious. Yeah, exactly. Yet again, it could be
I found this
pepperoni
funny.
cheese. And besides, you like Kamainas, and Kamainas looks a little bit interesting. So you know,
Yeah, it's just cheese with cumin seeds, and it's delicious.
yeah, yeah, it's reddish.
It's not radish. Now you're thinking
yeah,
about a different
yeah,
type of
yeah. I
cheese.
mean, there's a bunch of different types of cheeses. I'm not
True,
saying it's
true.
a red cheese, but you get the cheese. You're Dutch. Dutch no cheese. So
I
yeah,
know my
it's
cheeses, yes. So I
yeah.
also know that cumin cheese is not red.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's correct. I'm thinking about probably like some other cheese indeed.
Yeah.
But let's see.
Let's see.
Rock Golem now spawns at level 100. So I'm assuming it was previously. I would have expected there to be no level mechanic on bosses, but this is not the boss. This is a Rock Golem. So not
Same health as previously, but so um, I
is
think
Rock Golem
this
still
is gonna
referring to?
be a rock golems that are gonna spawn in the wild at some point.
Yeah, exactly, because that's not the Quarite. So I
No,
don't think Rock Golem and Quarite are the same thing, or
I
maybe they
think they
are
are the
because
same thing, but I think
yeah.
this particular line pertains to quartz that are gonna spawn in the
Spawning
wild.
in. Okay, right. Because yeah, you can see updated and manual AI spawning point, min max spawn level parameter, and well, that's the Rock Golem arena. So maybe it'll respawn in a certain zone similar to where the Lava Hunter currently spawns. That's
Maybe.
to be seen. Let's see here.
Fix a bug where the rock golem's heavy walking slime attack wasn't damaging targets more than once. So you no
Yeah.
longer can cheese it that way.
Yeah. So get hit once and that's it. But yeah.
Oh, we're getting
Okay.
a wall-mounted hitching post. We currently
Uh,
have a hitching post, which is basically a stick which you stick in the ground and you can tie your mounts to. A wall-mounted one though, put it on the wall of your pen and like or outside. Like you can make yourself a little saloon with a little fencing around it, like the poles with the horizontal beams where you can like tie your horse on.
yeah, role playing a stable, which is
Yeah.
pretty cool.
There was talks about the saloon doors, so
Oh yeah, there was, yeah, but that was barn doors, wasn't
or
it?
no
Well, there was
saloon
also
doors.
no, you were sorry, no, you're right. There was also a mentioning of
Yeah,
a saloon door as well. There were
yeah.
also oh no, that was no, there was a mentioning of barn doors, wasn't there? Or was I thinking that online?
Barn, I believe as well, yeah, but also
Yeah,
saloon
yeah,
doors.
there was barn. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right.
Ape Club now uses the utility slot. Oh, so either a shield or the Ape Club. Gotcha.
Interesting.
Rebalance the club to attack slower, but do more damage. Reduce effectiveness of some modifiers granted by the club. So, hit slower but harder. Check. Let's see. Rock Golem. There's a lot of work being done on the Great Hunt stuff. Adjusted Black Wolf revolver bonuses. Reduce utility bonus, increase the power of the other bonuses. Shifted fire damage bonus to burn chance. Okay, fire damage has now become a burn chance. To make elemental bonus a less clear choice paired with that upgrade. Increase elemental bonus damage. Increase on hit chances to 100% as a 100% burn chance. So increase the base damage and reduce the cost of the second upgrade. Looks like the Black Wolf revolver was a little bit underwhelming.
Could be, but it seemed good to me.
Scorpion rifle, increased energy mechanic bonus, changed bonus of different ammo capacity upgrades to have clearer pros and cons. Sandworm crossbow no longer has a movement penalty. Will adjust other utility options for movement plate upgrade. Didn't I just say? Where's the other post about this one? The Sandworm bow. Yeah, reduce mobility and critical damage while using by default. Of course, it did sound quite OP from what I've heard so far. And they reduced they removed the movement penalty. I wonder which order for these two bullet points is. Lava Hunter Flamethrower increased fuel storage. Remove bonus damage from burn upgrade. Increase range on range upgrade. Okay. Reskilled weight and wear upgrades.
No, sorry, I'm currently working again, so
Yeah. Yeah, I
I
think
don't comment.
these are uh, the most interesting bullet points here.
Oh, of course.
Added the deployment, bench Great Hunt communications with rig and animations. It should be split into two different benches, they said last week. Okay. Let's see. Added art assets for the roof mounted solar panels. Oh, we're gonna get Oh, roof-mounted solar panels. We're gonna get like, we can like, you have a roof piece where you can like place a solar panel on top of a roof piece.
Yeah, like
That's
a
gonna be
Tesla
nice.
roof kind of stuff.
And
That
like
makes
you
sense.
see at the roofs of houses and stables around here, solar panels on the
Yeah.
roof, like. Ah,
Okay.
okay. I wonder if it's gonna be the same crafting cost as the normal solar panels.
And what the
Cause
yield is going to be 1 pitch per panel.
yield,
Yeah.
yeah. Because right now in like the big base, I have a flat roof and I can put solar
Mhm.
panels on the roof. However, if I build a smaller base, forward operating base or so, sometimes
Mhm.
I do the diagonal roof piece, actual roof piece, and then I put a beam horizontal over the top, so I can place a solar panel on top of the beam. Now maybe we can then put a roof-mounted solar panel on there.
Yeah.
It's
It might
gonna
also
make
be
it look
smaller.
better.
True.
Yeah, but and that's about the adding pre-recorded audio assets and events for more convincing female character vocals for potential future use.
Good. Good.
So after Sol and Captain Crunch, we're gonna get female characters as well. Okay.
Makes sense.
Well, we kinda had some female characters in the null sector already, I believe. It's been a
Mhm.
while since I played that mission.
Indeed.
Yeah, those were the patch notes. How far is your upgrade?
It's going to still be. I think it's done actually. Yeah, it was done. So,
Okay.
but I
So
need
we
to do a
can
little bit of
take
work. So, yeah.
what do you need? Like
No,
30
no, no.
minutes?
I don't wait for my work. I'm gonna be working for at least 20 hours.
20
So
hours.
we just take. Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
freaking
So
weekend,
just.
man.
I know that's perfect time to do more work, but don't worry about it. So just start in what 15 minutes break, and then
Yep.
like I said, I'm just gonna test out the graphics settings, and since we don't have Echo joining us, we'll basically call it at that, and then see.
And then I'll
So
probably do a bit of solo play after that.
yep,
Because it is still
sounds good.
early here, so. Right, we're
No,
gonna
it is.
take a 15-minute break and then we will be back with a new stream. I hope you folks did enjoy watching us going through the patch notes so you don't have to. Uh, and if you did enjoy watching us play, if you want to get notified next time I stream, feel free to hit that follow button. Or if you watch this in YouTube and want to get notified next time I upload something, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Other than that, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. Uh, we're gonna take a 15-minute break and we will be back in 15-ish minutes with a new stream with the subsequent gameplay.